Hey, welcome to Brighter Rays. This week we are looking at a study called No Longer Jacob, and it's in Genesis 35 that we're looking at, and we're going to be going through the entire chapter this week. Now, last time we read about a horrible story of sin and death in chapter 34. It's not a pleasant chapter, and it's in the Bible, so it's important. But, God will sometimes bring us into seasons of our life that are just so hard and trying that we fear, and, we fear that we'll never make it out of it. We're wondering, can I survive this? And then we do. We make it on the other side. The Christian life is a life of ups and downs. It's not, there was never a promise that your life would be easy or that you wouldn't have troubles in your life. That's not what the promise of the Christian life is. If you were told that, you were lied to. And so we see that with Jacob and his following of God, his life of following God. When we left Jacob last time, he was at the bottom. He was at the very bottom. And you think about it, his sons went out and slaughtered a whole town. You think about your kids acting out and doing things that you don't approve of or that you're embarrassed of. Think about that. His two sons went out and he murdered an entire town. That's bad. That is very bad. So, but he's got to be at the bottom. And he's afraid for his life too. He's afraid for his family that the enemy's going to come in and slaughter him. So, and his daughter's been defiled. And his two sons are murderers. So you got to see that he's at the bottom, though. Now his other sons plundered the city. So, they took all the wealth, and now you have all these other women and children that is in your household now, which is really bizarre too. And so now you have all these other women and children, whether they're slaves or they become wives. We don't know what happens with these women and children, but they are taken into Jacob's household. So his household has grown. And, so he's got some more people to care for. But that's what happened. But, God does not allow his beloved children to stay at the bottom, to stay at the lowest point that they could be. He will not allow the circumstances of life to destroy their faith. He won't allow it. The circumstances that they're in might lead even to their death, but it won't lead to the death of their faith. And that's the important distinction there. Because sometimes we wonder, like, man, is this going to kill me? It might. It might take your life. But God will not allow your faith to die. If you have a true faith in Christ, that will be sustained. And sometimes it's hard to see how that's going to happen. But if you are a true believer, you will make it on the other side. You have all these people in the Christian culture today, former musicians and authors and conference speakers, and they're deconstructing their faith, and they're coming out, I've got different ideas now and stuff like that. Well, what was your faith based on before then? If it could just be wrecked by you trying to deconstruct it, your faith was not true. Your faith was not real. You might say it was, but the Bible makes it clear that perseverance is what shows us that you had real faith, that you're able to persevere because God promised that it won't go away. And so you can't look at these people and say, and agree with what they're saying. If they say, well, I had faith, and then now they don't, well, the Bible would say, no, you never had true faith in Christ. You might have pretended, you might have fooled yourself, but you never really truly had faith, because real faith will always, always persevere. Now in our chapter before us, we have two main ideas happening. Some ups and downs here. And if you look at verses 1 through 7 and 9 through 15, we find three occasions of fellowship that Jacob had with God. So those are the high points, right? When you're fellowshipping with God, you're worshiping Him. And for Jacob, he has a very close relationship at this time. In these different situations that he's in, he's worshiping the Lord. And so he's having fellowship with God, and that those are the high points. And then there's some low points here too. In verses 8 and 16 through 29, we have 3 funerals of people that are really instrumental in the life of Jacob, in his household, very important to his life. And so we're going to look at those 3 funerals as well. So that's the plan for this week. So come back next time and we'll begin with the 3 occasions of fellowship with God.